Picture this, it's 7:03 a.m. You open your banking app like you always do, and the deposit is not there. Same benefit, same account, same life, but the date moved, and that tiny shift does something bigger than it should. Because once money starts showing up on the wrong day, your brain does the thing it always does. It invents a story. The bank messed up, Social Security changed your benefit, someone got into your account, or worse, you're about to miss rent over a calendar glitch you didn't cause. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your deposit date changing is usually not a problem. It's the system working exactly as designed, which is annoying because the design is built around rules you were never told to memorize, rules that feel random until you see the machinery behind them. So, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why your Social Security deposit date moves when it's normal, when it's not, and the one mistake that makes people panic every single year. And by the end, you'll be able to look at a missing deposit and know fast whether this is a calendar trick or a real red flag, because Social Security doesn't operate on your mental calendar. It operates on labels. And labels don't care how your rent is due. Let's start with the part nobody explains clearly. Most people think Social Security works like a subscription. You get paid on the third or the first or every month, like a paycheck. But Social Security isn't one payment system. It's multiple lanes running side by side. Different benefits, different rules, different calendars. And the chaos you feel usually starts when you don't realize which lane you're actually in. Lane 1 is SSI, Supplemental Security Income. That's the one that usually pays on the first of the month. Lane 2 is regular Social Security, retirement, survivors, disability. That lane usually pays on a Wednesday schedule tied to your birthday. And lane 3 is the legacy lane for people who started getting Social Security before a certain cutoff date or who receive certain combinations of benefits. Those people might get paid on the third of the month, even if everyone around them is talking about Wednesdays. So right away, understand what this means. Two neighbors can both say, "I get Social Security," and be describing completely different systems. Now, why does the date change? There are three big reasons, and they're all boring, which is exactly why they cause panic. Reason number one, weekends and federal holidays. Social Security doesn't pay benefits on a day when banks are closed. So if your normal payment date lands on a Saturday, Sunday, or federal holiday, the payment doesn't get delayed, it gets moved earlier. That's the part that messes with people, because it feels like you got paid twice, one month, and not at all the next. But it's usually the same monthly benefit, just arriving at the end of the previous month. Here's how it looks in real life. Let's say you're on SSI and the first lands on a Sunday. You won't get paid on Sunday. You'll usually get paid on the business day before. That could be Friday, which might be the 30th or 31st. So it shows up in your bank account in the wrong month. Your brain says, wait, that was my December deposit. But the system says no. That was January's payment delivered early because the calendar was inconvenient. Then the next month, you check on the first and nothing happens because you already got that month's money. Nothing broke. Your calendar expectations broke. And Social Security does not care. Now, reason number two, the Wednesday rule. If you're on regular Social Security, again, retirement, survivors, disability, the payment date is typically based on your birth date, not the year, just the day of the month you were born. Your payment date is not the 15th. It's the third Wednesday. That means the calendar month can shift your deposit earlier or later by up to a week without anything changing about your benefit. Some months the third Wednesday is the 15th. Other months it's the 21st. Same rule, different date. And because humans don't live by Wednesday number 3, it feels like you're being messed with, especially if you budget down to the day. Now, reason number 3 is where the panic really starts. Bank posting. Social Security sends the payment on schedule. Your bank decides when it becomes visible. Some banks post as soon as they receive the payment file. Some post overnight. Some post at 9 a.m. Some post whenever their systems feel like it. And lately, a lot of banks advertise early pay, which sounds like a gift, but it can train you to expect the money earlier than the official date. So when early pay doesn't happen, maybe a processing delay, maybe a holiday, maybe the bank changed policies, you experience it as Social Security is late. No, your bank's early posting is late. That's a different thing. Now here's the hidden mechanism, the uncomfortable math behind why this system exists. Social Security pays tens of millions of people each month. Here's the simple version. Your aim gets divided into chunks. The first chunk gets replaced at a high percentage. The next chunk gets replaced at a medium percentage. The final chunk gets replaced at a low percentage. Those percentages are basically the heart of the system. Roughly speaking, it works like this. The first portion is replaced at about 90%, the next portion at about 32%, and the rest at about 15%. Those cutoffs, where each chunk begins and ends, change over time. So don't get stuck on exact thresholds, but the shape stays consistent. The formula is front-loaded. It's generous early and stingy late. That explains a weird reality that people don't talk about enough. If you go from low earnings to moderate earnings, your benefit can rise noticeably. But if you go from high earnings to very high earnings, the benefit still rises, just a lot less than you expect, because that extra income is being replaced at the lowest percentage. This is why some people swear Social Security skipped a month. It didn't. It just didn't match the containers in your head. Now let's contrast hype versus reality. The hype is what spreads online. They change the payment dates, new deposit schedule, big update. They're delaying checks. The reality is usually smaller and more frustrating. The system is doing a mechanical calendar adjustment, or you're mixing up SSI with Social Security, or your bank is playing games with early posting. And the internet loves panic because panic gets clicks. But there are times when a changed deposit date is not normal. So let's make you dangerous in the best way. Fast diagnosis. If you are missing a deposit, ask 3 questions. First, what benefit are you actually receiving? SSI or regular Social Security? Because the payment rules are different, and confusing them creates fake emergencies. Second, are we dealing with a weekend or a federal holiday? If your scheduled day isn't a business day, the deposit will usually move earlier, not later. Third, did you recently change anything? And by anything, I mean the stuff people treat like paperwork, but actually touches the money pipeline. Direct deposit changes, new bank account, a new representative payee, a change in address, a review notice you ignored because it looked like junk mail. Those can cause real delays. Not because Social Security is punishing you, because identity and banking changes get verified. Sometimes the payment still goes out, but to the old account. Sometimes it gets held until verification is complete. Sometimes it goes to a paper check temporarily. So here's the iron rule. Calendar shifts are predictable. Administrative changes are messy. Now I want to zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about one missing deposit. This is about fragility. A system that moves money based on Wednesdays and holidays is fine if you have a cushion, but most people don't. So the calendar trick becomes a stress test. A 2-day shift can mean overdraft fees, late rent, credit card interest, a phone call you didn't want to make. And that's why this topic matters right now. Not because the rules changed, because the margin in people's lives is gone, which means every little mechanical shift feels like a cliff. And here's the quiet irony. Social Security is one of the most rule-driven, predictable systems we have, but the human experience of it feels unpredictable because the rules are not explained in human terms. You weren't told, this happens when a holiday hits. You were told, payments are monthly. That's technically true and practically misleading. So what should you do the next time your deposit date changes? You don't need to spiral. You need a simple check. Look at your normal lane, SSI, Wednesday schedule, or legacy third of the month. Look at the calendar, weekends and holidays. Then consider the bank factor. Are you used to early posting? And if none of those explain it, if there's no holiday, no weekend, no Wednesday shift, no bank posting pattern, then you treat it as a real issue and follow up, not with panic, with precision. Because the real risk isn't that Social Security moved your deposit. The real risk is you reacting to a calendar shift like it's a crisis and missing the one time it actually is. And that leaves us with the question nobody wants to ask. If a huge chunk of the country is one calendar quirk away from financial chaos, is the problem really the payment date, or is the payment schedule just the monthly reminder that the system assumes you have breathing room you don't actually have?